my biggest question is when you're going to double your money through renovations, like how long does it take to double your money through some renos? Like, is it like as soon as you make the renovation, or is it, do you have to wait for the market to catch up to the renovation you've done?
Mm.
Like, what's the, you know,
Like everything, there's always cases within cases, and that's what we want to talk about is it is possible and how you can actually do it. But there's some key fundamental points that you need to go through before you get to that point of doubling your money, essentially. But it happens once you finish your renovations, essentially. When buyers walk through properties, they obviously like to, have a nice feel about the place. So it depends on the property. There's also people that are really keen on just renovating projects, and I've actually found that those original houses actually sell for a premium because people want to put their own, I guess, piece of love into the property, their own like the design flair. So, which is interesting because they might pay $1 million for this original house, and the renovation, if you actually break it down, which they may not have, could be $200,000 renovation. But renovated properties in the area are selling for 1.2 million. Yeah. So you're like, there's no profit in it. You're going to waste 12 months of your life doing this. So what's the point?
So it brings us to our first thing that we need to mention.
Research the market. Yeah.
Yeah, research the market. So like, I was thinking, I'm going to do a reno, like I could overspend and I could maybe underspend. So what do we need to do when we're researching the market? We're looking at other properties and seeing what's selling and what's not selling, like in terms of what reno, like, because sometimes like if I have the ideology that like this dwelling needs another floor or this house needs another floor as a renovation and I'm going to open up and get a lot more floor space, families in the area might not actually need that, right?
Yeah, so step one is you research the market, look at properties that are selling that are like your property. So you have a gauge of what you're actually dealing with, and that's your base case. And then you go through and you look at, well, what do you want to do with the property? Where do you perceive value to lie, and what do you want to create in this renovation? Then go and find similar properties that look like what you want to create, and that way you're going to have two different price brackets. Then you got to go through and go, well, how much is it going to cost me to get to that point? And your profits, what's left over.
There's probably a key distinction of like what, if I own a property and I was going to do a renovation on it, there should be probably a key distinction of like what I want the property to look like versus what the market wants the property to look like, right? Because I'm doing this to double my money and the person that's going to give me the money is the person that's going to buy it, rather than me going, oh, I like it this way and I want it this way. But are you doing it for you, or you're doing it to double your money to sell to the market?
Yes, that's actually a really good point, my friend. People, you have your own concepts of what you know and like, but if you're doing this to sell, you need to appease to the mass market, because that way you're going to get more eyes on your property. With more eyes becomes more competition, and that increases value because there's obviously higher demand. So try to stay away from purple colours. That's tip one.
People don't buy purple.
No, just keep it simple. Also, there's a great tip is actually to go into display homes in your local area of housing estates that are close by, and just see what those styles are at the time. You can get pretty caught up in all the new appliances and all that, but stick away from that. You want to appeal to the broad market and keep your costs reasonably low. You're there to obviously try and make a profit out of it. It also depends on what your end goal is. Are you renovating to sell? Are you renovating to rent? Are you renovating to live? Like that's regardless. You need to do the same exercise of understanding what your property's worth and what it could be worth at the end of it, because you don't want to go through all this process, all this time for it to not be a profitable exercise, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, so when you're doing, like when you're going to look at display homes, I guess you're looking at how many bedrooms it has, how many bathrooms it has, also probably the color scheming and like the overall like setting of it.